are all those details? Before we play out that report, give us details of what is happening now. It is extremely disheartening to know that two children have also lost their lives in this attack, and fact is that there will have to be stronger action that should be taken to protect the lives of those who are being targeted, civilians who are being targeted in the valley. What more can you share at this point?
See, right now, central agencies have taken the forensic samples from here also, and along with the JNKFSL. Now the teams of the National Investigation Agency, they are expected to arrive here, but it is unclear whether they will be arriving here today only or tomorrow morning. JNK Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha is in Rajouri. He was scheduled to visit this very place. It is yet to be ascertained whether he will be coming here or not. And massive coordinated search operations have been launched in the upper ridges area. Those, if Sarjeevan can show you, that the entire ridge has been occupied, taken over by the Indian Army, and from there also they will be starting approaching the downwards, so that no terrorist has an upper edge. Because what the terrorists usually do, what they have done in the Bhatanduriya, they have occupied the heights, and taking the advantage of the heights, they have caused the casualties to the Indian Army. So now this time the Indian Army is starting from the ridge towards down the side, and from another team of the army moving from the down area to the upper side. So they want to assure that these two terrorists are neutralized.
It's time for us to submit to a very short commercial break, but on the other side we'll continue to get our viewers updates from what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir and also in the national capital, as investigation in the Delhi hit and run case is ongoing. Remember, the post-mortem that is underway. That and much more on the other side. Stay with us.
This is Samiksha Srivastava reporting from Mumbai, and this is Republic.
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहाँ पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से ये प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहाँ पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
Hello, welcome you watching this brand new episode of This is Exclusive. Tonight, we'll get you videos which will only rattle the Pakistani government. What's really happening in Gilgit-Baltistan? Fifth day of the protest. But tonight, we'll get you testimonies which has only spooked the Pakistani government. But let's take a look at the headlines we're tracking at this hour. In massive protests in various parts of Gilgit-Baltistan against a new taxation law.
लड़की की जो बॉडी थी वो उस गाड़ी में कहीं स्टक की है और वो कई किलोमीटर तक लगभग 10-12 किलोमीटर तक उन्होंने ड्रैग किया है.
Twist in Delhi hit and run case. Police changes version. Now claims the Delhi victim was dragged for 13 kilometers.
नंबर दे चुका था, गाड़ी का रंग बता चुका था और मॉडल बता चुका था, बलेनो गाड़ी है. सब कुछ होने के बावजूद भी 3 पीसीआर मेरे सामने से गुजर गई और उसको बस उनके हाथ में.
Big lapses by the police now comes to the fore. Delhi hit and run. Eyewitness reveals police did not take his call seriously.
आप मिलने चाहिए और जैसे मेरे बच्ची के साथ मारपीट करी है ऐसी उन लड़कों के साथ भी हो.
Victim's mother refutes hit and run theory by police, alleges rape and murder and cover up by the police. 6 massacred in Rajouri, including 4-year-old and 5-year-old child. Yet another lobby lie collapses. Top court upholds Modi government's 2016 demonetization move. Ladies and gentlemen, the top story that we are getting you tonight on This is Exclusive. This is about what's really happening in Gilgit-Baltistan, a story that no other channel will show you. A strike that is being observed in various parts of Gilgit-Baltistan against a new taxation law that was passed by the Legislative Assembly. The protesters have now claimed that the Gilgit-Baltistan Revenue Authority Bill 2022 has imposed new taxes on 135 items. The bill was passed by the Assembly for the first time in August 2022. However, the governor there, Syed Mehdi Shah, in September had refused to sign the bill and returned it to the Assembly for review. Now, this bill was again tabled in the Assembly and was recently passed for the second time, effectively turning it into a law. Now, what has essentially happened is that there have been massive protests that have been taking place in Hunza Nagar, Kizyar, Daimar and several other areas. Take a look at this report, and then tonight we'll get you some testimonies of those who are part of the protest and what is it that they have to say about the Pakistani government in Gilgit-Baltistan.
Anger simmers on the streets of Gilgit-Baltistan. A shutdown strike was observed in various parts of Gilgit-Baltistan. This was against a new taxation law passed by the Legislative Assembly.
इस्लामाबाद से हमारे कटौती किए हुए गंदम के ट्रक यहाँ पर नहीं आएंगे. उस वक्त तक हमारा धरना जारी रहेगा जब तक वैसा बाइज्जत तरीके से 10 व्हीलर गाड़ियों में, ट्रकों में हमारे गंदम यहाँ बाइज्जत नहीं भेजेंगे. उस वक्त तक हम रोज यहाँ 2 बजे इसी तरह धरना लगाएंगे और रोज बैठेंगे. सुबह हुकूमत ये भूल जाए कि वो एक दूसरे के ऊपर मलबा डालकर अपनी जान छोड़ेंगे. इस तरह नहीं होगा.
The protesters have claimed that the Gilgit-Baltistan Revenue Authority Bill 2022 has imposed new taxes on 135 items. On the call of GB Traders Body and Hotel Association, shops were shut in several areas. Demonstrations were also held in Nasirabad area of Hunza, where locals took out a rally on Karakoram highway.
The protesters were holding placards and chanted slogans against the new taxes.
आज पूरा जीवी बंद है, सियाचिन से लेकर दियामत तक के तमाम दुकान बंद हैं और आवाम सड़कों पे है, शटर डाउन है। तो हम हुकूमत वक़्त को ये बावर कराना चाहते हैं, चाहे वो वफाकी हुकूमत हो चाहे सूबाई हुकूमत हो, अवामी इशूज़ के मसाले खुसूसन गंदम के जो बहरान हैं उसको जल्द अज जल्द हल करें। हमारे जो गंदम के कोटे में कटौती की गई है उसको फौरन रिलीज़ करें।
The locals claim that the imposition of taxes on 135 items will affect the poor people. Many protesters criticized the region's lawmakers for passing the bill and claimed that they have passed the bill for their own salaries and privileges. The protesters have given an open threat to Pakistan, warning to march towards Kargil and Ladakh. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, in fact, we'll try and explain what's really happening in Gilgit-Baltistan. It all starts with this particular Finance Act, the Gilgit-Baltistan Finance Act of 2022. 135 such items have been imposed. There have been taxes that have been imposed on them, and that's the reason why the traders, they're essentially saying that, look here, on the other side there are subsidies that are being given, and here you're trying to impose taxes, and that too on what basis? In fact, we're going to put out some testimonies where you're going to get a clear understanding of the fact that people there, POK residents, are essentially saying that give us the constitutional right and only then perhaps can you impose any taxes. Now, these are the latest images of the protests that are taking place. Look at the number of people who are participating in it. Now, this has only rattled the Pakistani administration because, remember, they haven't been able to quell the protests that are taking place. In fact, the protest took place this afternoon also. These are the latest images now that are coming in from Gilgit-Baltistan. There are several places across Gilgit-Baltistan where these protests are taking place, and now the students are also participating. Students' Federation is also participating in the protests that are taking place. So what does this essentially mean? We'll try and decode this for our viewers, because these images that you see right now on your screen is only making the Pakistani administration completely ready. And that's only because of the fact that all of them have now come together saying that first you've grabbed our land and then you are essentially now imposing taxes. We'll try and go across to our reporters on the ground, getting us the latest visuals, and also we'll try and play out the video of one of the Students' Federation head who's spoken during those protests, and he's openly declared, saying that do not make the mistake that you made back in 2018, because if you do that, this time we're not going to move towards Pakistan, we're going to move towards Kargil and Ladakh. We'll try and play that out in a short while from now, but let me get a quick response first from Gursimran, who's also tracking the story along with me to try and understand. That's where you're on your screens right now. Visuals of that Student Federation leader. We'll play out that video in a short while from now. But if Gursimran is ready, let's try and go across to him, and then we'll play out that speech that was delivered by the Student Federation head in Gilgit-Baltistan, where he's openly declaring that this time that they're going to march towards Ladakh and Kargil. Now, what's really happening, Gursimran, on the ground is that the Pakistani government is completely collapsing. People there are making it abundantly clear that they are with the Indian government. They are willing to move towards Kargil and Ladakh. They made it abundantly clear that they are no longer going to allow the Pakistani government to carry on with their land grabbing attempts.
People of Gilgit-Baltistan have made it amply clear that only be focusing on their rights, and they won't be moving to Baltistan or towards the Islamabad this time, or to Lahore, but this time they will be moving to Ladakh, and that this time.
We'll try and reconnect with Gursimran in a short while from now. There seems to be some problem with his audio line, but let's take a look at some of the videos that have been accessed. Republic, in fact, has accessed exclusive visuals of the protest that is only intensifying in Gilgit-Baltistan. In one of the videos that we have accessed, protesters can be heard threatening the Pakistani government that they will move to Kargil and Ladakh. And let's put this into perspective. Who this person is happens to be the leader of the Student Federation, who's making it very, very clear that they are not going to allow Pakistan to carry on with their land grab attempts. Let's listen in to what Student Federation leader had to say during the protests.
अवामी मिल्कियत की जमीनों पर कब्जा करके ये बदलाना चाहते हैं कि खरमा के अवाम अल्लाह हमसे अलग है। ये इस वक्त आप देख सकते हैं कि पूरे गिलगित बाल्टिस्तान में अवाम सड़कों पर है। आपको ये समझना चाहिए कि 3 दिनों से अवाम ने अपना फैसला सुना चुके हैं और इस टेस्ट को कंडेम कर चुके हैं। हम फिर से ये बतलाना चाहेंगे कि 2018 वाला वाक़या दोहराने की कोशिश ना करें। हम फिर पाकिस्तान की तरफ बिल्कुल मार्च नहीं करेंगे, न हम गिलगित की तरफ हम मार्च करेंगे। हम मार्च करेंगे करगिल की तरफ, हम मार्च करेंगे लद्दाख की तरफ। फिर आपको पता चलेंगे कि मुतनाज़ा टेरिटरी की हैसियत क्या है, मुतनाज़ा खत्ते की अहमियत क्या है। ये कंज्यूम सब्सिडी आप खैरात में नहीं दे रहे हैं। हमारे बॉर्डर के उस पार में जो हमारे रिश्तेदार हैं वो हमें ताना देते हैं, वो हमें हर रोज ताना देते हैं, कहते हैं कि उनको 27 बेसिक कम्युनिटीज पर उनको सब्सिडी हासिल है। लेकिन एक चीज कंज्यूम पे आप सब्सिडी दे रहे हैं, वो भी बार बार हमें ये बतला रहे हैं कि आप बेकारी है। हम बेकारी नहीं है, ये हमारा हक है, ये हम आपसे छीन के लेंगे। आखिर में मैं एक दफा फिर ग़ुलाम हुसैन अता का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ कि आपने हम जैसे लोगों को एक दफा फिर जिंदा किया और इधर यहाँ यादगार पर अवामी।
Not just one, but in fact, there are 2 more testimonies. Republic gets you back-to-back exclusive footages from Gilgit protest, where in another video, a protester can be seen slamming the government and fighting for their constitutional rights. Listen in to what he had to say.
आज मैंने देखा हमारा वज़रा कह रहा है कि हमने कोई टैक्स नहीं लगाया। खुदा का खौफ करे, ये बिजली के बिलों में जो इजाफा है इसको हम टैक्स न कहे, इसको हम फीस न कहे, इसको हम रेवेन्यू न कहे, तो आप ही कोई इनाम दे कि हम उसको क्या नाम दे। खुदा का खौफ करे। दूसरी बात, मैं एसयू से ये कहना चाहता हूँ, स्कर्दू में टेलेनार भी है, जोंग भी है, यूफून भी है। अगर हम एसयू के खिलाफ बात करें तो गद्दारी में शामिल है, तो जोंग के खिलाफ बात करें तब भी हम गद्दार है, यूफून के खिलाफ बात करें क्या तब भी हम गद्दार है, और क्या टेलेनार के खिलाफ बात करें क्या हम फिर गद्दार है।
Well, in fact, there were multiple videos accessed by Republic TV, a clear indication that all is not well inside Gilgit-Baltistan, and that is exactly why they are now openly threatening the Pakistani government that not to make the mistake that they made back in 2018, because if they do, then they are going to exactly follow what they have been demanding, that they're going to move towards Kargil and Ladakh. And that's the reason why we are saying that they're essentially spooked. Shifting focus now to the other story that we're getting to you tonight, the horrific act in the national capital. But before that, we'll try and go across to the latest details now coming in from Rajouri, where we are now being told that the Lieutenant Governor is present at the spot meeting the relatives of the deceased. Let's cut across to the latest images that are coming in of the Lieutenant Governor. Along with him is the Jammu and Kashmir DGP. We'll try and go across to my colleague Gursubrut, who's getting us the latest details right now.
Yes, Shavan. Yes, Shavan. Right now we are at the residence, the first house that was attacked by the terrorist, and J&K LG Manoj Sinha is here. He has taken the stock of the situation, sir. and he already had chaired a meeting, a high-level meeting with officials, and has also interacted with the family members of the deceased. He has assured that all possible help will be given to the family members of those who have been killed by the terrorists. And LG has also made it firmly very clear that there is zero tolerance policy for the terrorism in Jammu and Kashmir, and those who are trying to vitiate the peace process, they will be dealt in a stronger way. And also the two terrorists, those who carried out the brutal killings of the 4 people and then followed by an ID attack in which 2 people lost their life. The manhunt is on by the security forces to nab those terrorists. सर, लगातार आपकी तरफ से ये क्लियर किया गया है कि आतंक विरोधी जो है पॉलिसी बड़ी क्लियर है, लेकिन एक बार फिर आतंकियों की तरफ से इस तरह का प्रयास हुआ. So, J&K LG Manoj Sinha here. He has visited the spot where the attack has happened. Sir, किस तरह से देखते हैं सर?
We walk first.
सर, लेकिन अब सर माइनॉरिटी कम्युनिटी आपको एक्सपेक्ट कर रही थी, आप आए भी हैं, तो सर क्या एश्योरेंस देना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि काफ़ी ऐसे पॉकेट्स हैं जहां पे जम्मू में ही टेररिज्म को रिवाइव करने की कोशिश जो है वो टेरर ग्रुप्स की तरफ से की जा रही है. सर, जिस तरह से मतलब माइनॉरिटीज़ को टारगेट किया गया पहले वैली में, उसी तरह का माहौल यहाँ पे बनाने की कोशिश जो है वो टेरर ग्रुप्स कर रहे हैं. So, Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir has visited the spot. This was an attempt of the Pakistani-based terror groups to target the minority community here in Jammu. Though we tried to ask the LG some of the questions that what he has to say on the attempt of the terror groups to revive the terrorism in the Jammu region and also to target the minority community. We expect that, hope that the J&K LG will speak on it. These are the issues that have been raised at every platform when it comes to the targeting of the minority community by the terror groups based in Pakistan and also some of their supporters here in Jammu who has always been in a bid to vitiate the peace process. Sir, लगातार जैसे minorities पे सर
अभी सिक्योरिटी के लोगों को बुलाया, मीटिंग करूंगा, वहीं पर बात करूंगा.
आज रात को मीटिंग की जाएगी
अभी.
So, J&K LG Manoj Sinha making it very clear that he will speak only after the high-level security review meeting that he is going to do in a short while from now, and post that he will be speaking. So, a detailed answer you can expect that J&K LG will be sharing post this meeting that is to be chaired by him in a short while from now, wherein the DGP, the additional DG and the officers from the intelligence agencies along with the CRPF and other security forces, paramilitary forces and the Indian Army, they will be taking the part in this meeting that is scheduled in a short while from now to be headed by the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, and will be tracking this meeting very closely because it has come at a time, a day after a successful end of a year for the Jammu and Kashmir police, where 186 terrorists have been utilized, including the 56 foreign terrorists. But then all of a sudden a brutal incident of a terror act has been reported, wherein 6 people from the minority community has been killed by the terrorists, and also the terror plot that has been hatched by the terror group. So in a short while from now, the J&K LG Manoj Sinha, along with the senior officials from the police, from the Indian Army and the paramilitary forces, he will be chairing a high-level meeting. Post that, LG has said that he will be speaking and sharing some of the details regarding the counter-terror grid that has to be put in place, because in the recent past, we have seen the terror group shifting their focus from the Kashmir Valley to Jammu so as to establish their cadre and also to carry out act of terror so that they can instill the fear among the minority community. So LG is visiting the second house where 2 people were brutally killed by the terrorists. This is Pritam Lal and his son, and Pritam Lal was killed after he was asked to show his Aadhaar card. His Aadhaar card was lying near the pool of the blood where he was shot at by the terrorist in the almost at around 6:37 was the time when this incident has been reported. And now LG will also be going to the third house where Satish Sharma has been shot dead by the terrorists. So LG visiting all the houses where the brutal killings have taken place, followed by an IED blast. That was something really very tragic, and it shows that how desperately the terror groups have planned to carry out the targeted killings of the minority, then followed by huge casualties to the security forces, to the officials of the J&K government, and also the locals who have come for the cremation. But then a little change as the family members decided to hold a protest. There was no one except 8 to 10 people who were inside the house, who were relative of Deepak Sharma. They got the injuries. 2 minors have...
Well, shifting focus now to the other story that we're getting to you tonight. The horrific Delhi hit-and-run case that has sent shockwaves to the nation, wherein a 20-year-old woman was killed after her scooter collided with a car. She was dragged for a considerable distance. Allegation of foul play. The family of the deceased girl has now stated that this is not just an accident, but a planned murder. The family has further claimed that the Delhi police are now basically trying to save the accused because of certain political links. Now, as per the relatives of the victim, one of the 5 accused identified as Manoj Mittal is a Russian dealer in Sultanpuri area. Is also a BJP leader, and therefore he's being shielded. Now, what has really transpired over the last 24 hours in terms of the investigation that has been carried out by the Delhi police? Are there any loopholes? We'll try and decode that for you in this edition, because we're getting more details of the statements that have been recorded so far by the police, and the fact that the eyewitnesses have now come on record to say that multiple calls were actually made to the police. Details of the car was also shared by the eyewitnesses to the police, but despite that, just a simple diary entry was made, and even after the police themselves spotted the car, that is when they acted on it. But the question here is that what took the Delhi police so much time? Secondly, this was on the intervening night of 31st and 1st of January, when the Delhi police has essentially been making that big claim that there have been maximum deployment on the roads of the national capital. If that's the case, then how did it take so much time for the Delhi police to act on this entire matter? We'll try and go across to my colleague Anuj, who's joining us from the very spot, the crime spot. Anuj has also spoken to some of the eyewitnesses. Anuj, it becomes abundantly clear that there was a good amount of time that the Delhi police had from the first call that was made around 3:24 in the morning, and there 27 minutes later there was another call that had gone to the Delhi police, but despite that they did not act on it immediately.
Well, Shaman, that's the biggest question at this point in time, that why did the Delhi police did not act on the time when there was 2 calls which was made in. We have spoken to the eyewitness, we have spoken to the man who dialed to the police after seeing what is happening on the road. He just saw the same from his own eyes and called the police that he can see a lady being dragged under the car, a woman being dragged under the car, and it is being drive at they were taking the U-turn. Thrice when he was talking to us.
Right, Anuj, we're getting in some more breaking news right now. In fact, Anuj, I'll ask you to stay on with us as we're getting at some more details right now. Piyush Ore, my colleague, getting us the latest news that the post-mortem has already been conducted. It has ended. In a short while from now, the Delhi police would be receiving the report, and based on it, the charges, whether at all additional charges would be invoked or not, that would be decided. Joining right now from outside Sultanpuri police station is my colleague Suesha. Suesha, the details now emerging of the post-mortem report. Police essentially maintaining that they are going to take the future course of action based on this autopsy report. What more details are you picking up?
Oh yes, a lot depends now on what the post-mortem report states. Considering, Shravan, that the statements that the Delhi police has been making in this case so far are not really cutting ice with the people. So many questions now staring at the Delhi police in terms of inaction, in terms of the very fact that calls were made to the cops but they did not act. Their delay that cost the victim her life. Also the very fact that for 14 long kilometers the body was entangled in that car, but it went undetected despite the accused driving in front of a police station and no one noticed on a night when there should be heightened security. This very incident went unnoticed. The fact that the victim had to suffer for so long, and which is the very reason why the post-mortem is extremely important of what it states. Because remember, the family has also been claiming that there would have been sexual assault. The victim was found in a state where there were no clothes on her body, and the family is saying that the very fact that the Delhi police is ruling this out completely is suddenly wishy-washy at its own end. So the police also adding that now, if according to the post-mortem sexual assault is detected, then that is a charge that will be added apart from culpable homicide and negligence are the charges that have been pressed so far. So like Anuj was also saying that the result of the post-mortem report, also what the forensics team eventually finds out, and also the CCTV footage that the police is scanning, all of these evidences will be pieced together to really come to the conclusion of what had happened. But so far what the Delhi police is claiming, and even the accused saying that they were not drunk, they had not consumed alcohol. Yes, they were out for a New Year celebration, but because the music in the car was very loud is their version, which is why they did not know that the body of the victim was entangled in the car. Now, absolutely hard to believe that something like this actually happened, but we heard the news conference today by the Delhi police and awaiting further answers and what the post-mortem report now states.
Well, thank you very much, Suesha, as well as Anuj, for joining us on This Is Exclusive, as my reporters get you the latest details. Once again, questions essentially being raised about the conduct of Delhi police in this entire investigation. Will the Delhi police now answer those questions?
I am Suesha Sawant reporting from New Delhi. This is Republic.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं जीके 2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
The most gruesome killing of 20-year-old. Family alleges death is a case of rape and murder. Complete breakdown of law and order under Delhi police. Arnab debates at 9 p.m. Biggest blow to the lobby this new year.
Illegality claim on demonetization comes crumbling. Supreme Court upholds demonetization. Arnab debates at 10 p.m. Hello and welcome. You're watching Republic TV. The Delhi hit and run case is the #1 talking point in the country. Nothing is adding up in the police version. Yesterday they said the body was dragged for 4 kilometers. Today they're saying it was dragged for 13 kilometers. We list the lapses in the case. First up, let's have a quick check of the headlines. Police change version, now claim Delhi victim was dragged for 13 kilometers.
खुला गाड़ी का नंबर दे चुका था, गाड़ी का रंग बता चुका था और मॉडल बता चुका था, बलेनो गाड़ी है। सब कुछ होने के बावजूद भी 3 पीसीआर मेरे सामने से गुजर गई और उसको बस उनके हाथ नहीं।
Delhi hit and run eyewitness reveals police did not take his call seriously.
मेरी बच्ची को इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए और जैसे मेरे बच्ची के साथ मारपीट करी है ऐसी उन लड़कों के साथ भी हो।
Victim's mother refutes hit and run theory by police, alleges rape and murder and cover up by cops. 6 massacred in Rajouri, including 4-year-old and 5-year-old children. Yet another lobby-like collapses. Top court upholds Modi government's 2016 demonetization move. And getting you the latest update as far as the Delhi hit and run investigation is concerned. What we are getting to know right now is that the post-mortem of the victim has concluded. Our reporters are telling us that the post-mortem was conducted for over 90 minutes and the body will be taken at around 10 a.m. tomorrow for cremation. This is what we are getting to know. We'd seen how the family earlier had alleged that this is a case, the family claims it's a case of rape and murder. The police has said that they are awaiting the post-mortem report.
मांग रहे हो आप एलजी साहब का इस्तीफा मांगने की बजाय दिल्ली के प्रशासन को दुरुस्त करें। अभी आप कहते हैं कोई भी, देखिए जब कोई वाहवाही की बात आती है तो केजरीवाल साहब आगे आ जाते हैं, भाई साहब हमने किया, और जहां पर लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की बात आती है केजरीवाल साहब कहते हैं भैया मेरे हाथ में कुछ नहीं है, केंद्र सरकार आप संभालो। तो मैं कहता हूं राजनीति बंद हो, हमारी अंजलि को न्याय मिले और हम लोग इसको लेके, हाँ हमारी बहन को न्याय मिले, बस यही हम आप सबसे कहेंगे। और आप सब मीडिया वालों का मैं बहुत तहे दिल से शुक्रिया करूंगा क्योंकि आपके बिना हमारी इस बेटी को इंसाफ कभी नहीं मिल पाता। 31 दिसंबर 1 जनवरी जब पूरा भारत या पूरा वर्ल्ड जो है न्यू ईयर बना रहा था, आपने हमारी बहन की न्यूज़ को दिखाया। मैं डॉक्टर भूपेंद्र चौरसिया हूँ, मैं इसका आप मुझे एक भाई मान लीजिए नैतिकता के आधार पे। तो ये है, अगर अब आप लोग कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं आप पूछ सकते हैं। पवन आप मान के चलिए मैं उनका धर्म भाई हूँ, मैं उनका भाई हूँ, है ना। और अगर आप कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं आप पूछ सकते हैं, अदरवाइज क्योंकि आप लोग भी काफी देर से खड़े थे तो ये हमारी भी नैतिकता है कि आप लोग के
आप अंदर मौजूद थे ना?
सर मैं अंदर मौजूद था। रिकॉर्डिंग हाँ प्रॉपर 3 लोगों की टीम।
पवन
So this was a live feed that we were getting from outside the hospital. What we can tell our viewers is that the post-mortem has just concluded. The cremation is likely to take place tomorrow. The police earlier had said that they are awaiting the post-mortem report and will add relevant sections in the FIR based on the post-mortem report. This comes, in fact, after the family has alleged that this is not just a case of hit and run. This is a case of rape and murder. This is what the family is alleging. There are many questions that are raised against the Delhi police as well. Delhi police is also under fire for the kind of lapses and the investigation that is being covered. There is a cover-up charge against the Delhi police because the Delhi police is saying that the body was dragged for 13 kilometers. As per the statement that was released by the Delhi police, the body could have been dragged for 47 minutes early in the morning on the 1st of January. How is it that there was no police van, there was no policeman who spotted the body? What some eyewitnesses have also said some eyewitnesses have also said
that the police sort of had a very lackadaisical approach and they were very laid back when the first PCR call was made. They did not respond to it immediately. Now, these are the eyewitness versions also that we are getting in this entire case. Piyush Ori is reporting live on this incident, on this case. He has been reporting this case since Sunday evening. Piyush, if you can tell us if you can give us the latest details about the post-mortem that was conducted and how long do we have to wait for the report and further action?
So yes, the post-mortem of this 20-year-old has just ended at Maulana Azad Medical College mortuary. In fact, the time at which I'm speaking to you, the people who have supported this 20-year-old girl, which includes her relatives and also her well-wishers, are right now briefing the media. And what they have told us is that the post-mortem took close to 1.5 hours for completion. They've also revealed some very horrific details of this case. They've told us that they've seen the photographs of this 20-year-old, and what they are now convinced is that this is a cold-blooded murder, and they now want the police to make a thorough investigation in this case. What we've also been told is that the post-mortem report is going to be coming in the afternoon, following which the body of this 20-year-old will be taken by the relatives for cremation, because the family is very clear that till the time they're not going to get the post-mortem report, they will not undergo with the process of cremation, because they want all the details to be first recorded, after which they are going to do the cremation of this 20-year-old girl, which now the family members are convinced has been murdered very brutally. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you very much, Piyush. We have Suesha also joining us live on this broadcast. She's reporting from outside the Sultanpuri police station, where we witnessed massive protests a few hours back. Family members and citizens joining the protest outside the Sultanpuri police station, raising questions against the Delhi police in this entire investigation. Suesha, what is the situation right now? What are you hearing from the police? Where is this investigation also headed?
Oh yes, Sanika, like Piyush also said, that a lot depends on what is now stated in the post-mortem report, because remember, the family has been claiming that there could be sexual assault and rape against their daughter, and the Delhi police has completely refuted this charge. They've said that so far, as per their investigation, this has not really been found out. Even the accused who are being questioned, and they have been sent to 3-day police custody, they have also said that they had not indulged in any sexual assault, or it's not like they had consumed alcohol, but they have been claiming all along that because the music in the car was very loud, and again a theory very hard to believe, which is why they did not realize that the body was getting dragged with the car. Now, if the post-mortem states that there could probably an angle of sexual assault or rape, then that is something that will certainly be investigated, and those charges will also be added in this case. Also, the post-mortem that has just ended, so tomorrow afternoon is when the report is expected. Then there will be more clarity. The forensics team also now having collected all the samples from the site, and those evidences will also be looked into very closely. Meanwhile, the police is also piecing together the CCTV footage. So the various videos that Republic has also aired through the day of the Baleno that was driving, of the scooty when the victim was on it and when she was making her way to the house. So all the CCTV footage that is now being scanned by the Delhi police, where they are putting together what may have happened. Now, we do understand that there is a lot of pressure on the police, and the LG has made it very clear to the top cops that he has to be in the know-how of every development in this case. Also, the very fact that there should be no negligence, there should be no lapses, and any lapses that have occurred so far must be in the know-how of the LG, because one thing also what the Delhi Chief Minister had said, that the culprits should not be spared, and there should be no lackadaisical attitude in this case, because that is the very allegation that is being made against the Delhi police, Sanika. Even the eyewitness claiming that he had been calling the PCR again and again, and he had been informing the police of the car number, of what he had seen, of the fact that there was a body that was getting dragged with the car. But the police had shown no interest, and this is a big allegation against the Delhi police that they neglected all the details that were coming in. This is pure negligence on the part of the Delhi police. The victim could have probably been saved, but as the eyewitness also says that 3:30 is when he had first called them, and it was really at 5 o'clock when the police put out details of what had happened. So tomorrow is a very crucial day in terms of the investigation. The family being extremely clear that they will not cremate the body unless and until the post-mortem report is out. And given the fact that the family is claiming that there is a wishy-washy investigation on the part of the police, so all the more they are being extremely careful that they don't hurry when it comes to performing the last rites of the victim. All through the day at Sultanpuri police station, we've seen the massive protests and outrage that is coming in, where citizens are complaining that they feel unsafe. It is not only about the victim, it is about the victim, it is about all the daughters, it is about the safety of women in the national capital. Why is it that when there has been something as brutal as the Nirbhaya case 10 years ago, that such a barbaric hit and run case that happened, that too on New Year's Eve, when the security ideally should have been heightened, and the police is claiming that was the case, but
so like
the victim
Suesha, like
still
you
lost
said,
her life.
tomorrow is going to be a very important day because tomorrow is when the post-mortem report is expected. All eyes will be on that report, on the further course of action of the Delhi police. For now, we're slipping into a short break. After the break, we'll get more updates on this story as well as the terror attack in Rajouri, where 6 people have been killed, including a 4-year-old and 5-year-old children. And also coming up after the break, yet another lobby lie has collapsed. Supreme Court has upheld Modi government's 2016 demonetization move.
I am Suesha Sawant reporting from New Delhi. This is Republic.
For 6 years, the lobby kept the issue alive. But as the Supreme Court bats for the need for demonetization while upholding the 2016 decision of the Modi government, it brings to an end another lobby campaign. That's our biggest story tonight at 7 p.m.
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की
biggest blow to the lobby this new year. Illegality claim on demonetization comes crumbling. Supreme Court upholds demonetization. Arnab debates at 10 p.m. And welcome back. We're getting you another top story at this hour. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha is chairing a high-level meeting. This comes after the terror attack in Rajouri that has claimed 6 lives, including children, a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old. They've lost their lives in this terror attack in Rajouri. The families were selectively targeted. What we're getting to know is that the terrorists had checked their Aadhaar card before gunning down the members of the family. An IED blast was also reported in the morning. Gursimran is reporting live from Rajouri. Over to you, Gursimran. What is the latest situation? Can you get us details of the meeting that is being chaired by the J&K LG right now?
Yes, Sanika, Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha's cavalcade is reaching the meeting venue in a short while from now. We are along with the cavalcade of the LG and along with the LG, Jammu Kashmir Home Secretary R.K. Goyal, along with the DG Jammu Kashmir, Dilbag Singh, ADG Mukesh Singh, and the civil servant officers, the civil administration officers, they all will be taking part. We are also getting to know that the officials from the Border Security Force, the officials from the Indian Army, and also the officials who are from the IB and the RAW, they all will be taking part, because now the focus will be on the joint operations to be conducted in the region, because the 2 terrorists who have carried out twin brutal acts, first the firing at the civilians, killing 4 civilians and injuring 6, and followed by an IED attack in which 2 minors have been killed and 8 others have been injured. That attackers, they are still at large and efforts are on to nab those terrorists. So the priority of the J&K government remains that those 2 terrorists are neutralized at an earliest, and we are also getting to know that till the time those terrorists are not neutralized, ADG Jammu will be camping here in Rajouri. So an operation all out to neutralize these 2 terrorists have been launched, and the multi-sister agency input is being used. The MAC inputs are being corroborated to find out the location of these terrorists, and also if there are any other groups present in the area, they are neutralized at an earliest, because this is an attempt by the Pakistani terrorists to instill fear among the locals, especially the minorities, and to bring a situation like migration in the Hindu-dominated areas. So that is something really concerning, and MHA has given a clear-cut directions to the J&K administration that there needs to be zero tolerance policy, and those who have carried out this brutal act, those perpetrators need to be punished at an earliest, and that's why a mega meeting is around the corner. In a short while from now, the J&K LG will be reaching the destination where the meeting is happen, and post that meeting J&K LG will be addressing the media. We asked him some of the questions, but he said that only after chairing the meeting with officials he will be speaking. But yes.
And Gursimran, as you cover the updates of that meeting, let's also tell our viewers about the reports you filed earlier in the day when the gunfire was still on. The security forces were undertaking the rescue operations. Let's play out those reports.
पहुंचे हैं वहां पे ब्लास्ट एकाएक इतना बड़ा धमाका हुआ है, उसी घर में धमाका जो है हुआ है। ये बच्चा जो है इसे भी यहाँ पर माइनर इंजरीज जो हैं वो यहाँ पर आई हैं। आप देखिए ये जो लेडीज हैं, सरजीवन ये लेडीज जो हैं ये कितना नुकसान जो है शत विशत पूरी तरह से हो गई हैं। यानी कि ये पॉसिबिलिटी है कि यहाँ पर एक जो है बड़ा ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ये देखिए लगातार सरजीवन आपको विजुअल्स दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरह से सुरक्षा बल जो है वो यहाँ पर तैनात थे और चंद मीटर की दूरी पर जो है एक बड़ा ब्लास्ट यहाँ पर हुआ है। अब लोगों को यहाँ पे जो है सुरक्षा बल कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द जो है वो यहाँ पे ले जाया जाए। सरजीवन किधर आया?
कोई पता नहीं शमानेरा आया कुछ आया बैठे सो
अचानक से एक ही जड़ है तो ठीक वही घर जिसपे कि सबसे पहला ब्लास्ट हुआ था, वहां पे जो आतंकियों द्वारा हम सर पहले घर पे ब्लास्ट हुआ सर, इससे बड़ा ब्लास्ट हाँ सर, वो 2 लोग इंजर्ड, 2-3 लोग राजौरी आतंकी हमले में 4 लोगों की मौत हुई है, 6 लोग घायल हुए हैं। ये महिला हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। मैडम, आप उस वक्त घर में मौजूद थे जब वो लोग आए?
हाँ,
कितने लोग थे, क्या हुआ?
2 आदमी थे। वो पहले आए ना रोड से, एक आया ऊपर रोड से, उनको बोलने लगा आपको बंदे नहीं मिले? 2 हैं, नहीं मिले, मुझे नहीं मिले। कहाँ गए थे आप? उनने बोला अपने घर गए थे पार। तो वो रास्ते से ही आ रहे थे, जो मेरा पति है ना वो रास्ते से आ रहे थे। फिर वो ससुराल वाले जो आग सेक रहे थे घर पे, फिर मैं खाना बना रही थी, चूल्हे के पास बैठी खाना बना रही थी। फिर मैं खाना बना रही थी तो उन्होंने बोला है आप अंदर चलो हैं। मैं किस लिए, पहले बच्चे उनने अंदर किए हैं, आप अंदर चलो हैं। फिर बच्चे उन्हें अंदर कर दिए, फिर मेरे को बोले आप ही अंदर चलो। मैं किस लिए अंदर नहीं जाना, हम इधर बाहर ही रुकेंगे। आपने आधार कार्ड चेक करो तो चेक कर लो, एक और सी बात है हमारे को अंदर डाक के आप आधार कार्ड चेक करोगे, इनका क्या बात है? फिर कोई नहीं बोले, हमारे फटफट मेरे को धक्का देके ना किचन में डाल के तो बाहर से कुंडी ला दी। फिर कोई होश नहीं, बाहर से कुंडी लगा के
उन्होंने
फायरिंग हुई।
फिर आधार कार्ड मांगा गया था उन लोगों की तरफ से?
हाँ मांगा सने, हाँ आधार कार्ड मांगा था।
तो फिर उसके बाद फायरिंग?
हाँ।
जब आपको होश आई, जब आप बाहर आए तो क्या देखा आप?
वो आदमी मिले ही नहीं है। तो जो हमारा पति था वो ऐसे गिरे हुए थे, रास्ते में ही पड़े हुए थे।
खुला गाड़ी का नंबर दे चुका था, गाड़ी का रंग बता चुका था और मॉडल बता चुका था, बलेनो गाड़ी है। सब कुछ होने के बावजूद भी 3 पीसीआर मेरे सामने से गुजर गई और उसको बस उनके हाथ में।
Delhi hit and run eyewitness is revealing that the police did not take his call seriously. We get you more on that after this break.
बच्ची को इंसाफ मिलना चाहिए और जैसे मेरे बच्ची के साथ मारपीट करी है ऐसी उन लड़कों के साथ भी हो।
And families alleging rape and murder. We'll get you all the details.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं जीके 2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो 2nd फ्लोर है और 3rd फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
The Delhi Commission of Women Chief Swati Malewal. Now, the Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, has also reacted to this horrific and a shocking incident, and an incident which has now led to more questions being asked of what actually would have happened that night. The Delhi police may be claiming that this is a mishap, but the family members are quite sure that this is a case where 20-year-old Anjali was first raped In fact, she was gang raped and then murdered brutally. So yes, the investigation in this case is going on, but the family members are claiming that there is more than what meets the eye. Having said that, the Delhi Chief Minister has also reacted on what has happened on the unfortunate night of 1st January, where a 20-year-old girl died reportedly due to accident. And he has said that the police has registered the case under very light sections. Let me just tell you the sections under which the police has registered the case. The police has registered the case under section 279, which rash driving, and 304A, which means death caused due to rash driving. Now, this is a bailable offence, so which means that all these 5 accused, which have been apprehended by the Delhi police, may come out on bail. So the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has demanded that a thorough investigation should be done on this case, and yes, if required be, the police should book these accused under more stringent sections. So it is now going to be interesting to see that from here on what course of investigation the Delhi police is going to take, because as I told you that the family members are claiming that because there are some people, there are some people and accused who are political links that may be involved in this case, there is a cover-up which is being done by the Delhi police. So how the Delhi police is going to react to this criticism, it is going to be interesting to see from here on.
For 6 years, the lobby kept the issue alive. But as the Supreme Court bats for the need for demonetization while upholding the 2016 decision of the Modi government, it brings to an end another lobby campaign. That's our biggest story tonight at 7 p.m.
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और
The Sunanda tape.
Was there an email that was sent to you from Shashi Tharoor asking for help? Can you show me the mail?
Dr. Tharoor, can you answer whether directly or indirectly you tried to get in touch with Dr. Sudhir Gupta?
हम प्रूफ के साथ वो चीजें आपसे पूछ रहे हैं। तुम अपना प्रूफ अपना घर में रख।
The Lalu tape. We don't preach journalism. We practice it.
Thank you for joining us on the biggest story tonight. It's 7 p.m. I'm Niranjan, getting you the biggest story tonight. The developments in Delhi. Last evening around this time we were reporting on what seemed like a hit and run case, but there's more to it. There's a cover-up. We'll tell you all about that. Here are the headlines at 7 p.m. The Delhi hit and run cover-up is out. Not 4, but the body of a 20-year-old was dragged for 13 kilometers. The police version has changed. The body of the victim was dragged for 13 kilometers. "13 kilometers in 47 minutes in the national capital. Not a single police officer acted." The family of the victim in Delhi says the case would have been buried if there was no media coverage. Two attacks in 15 hours in Rajouri, Jammu and Kashmir. 4 and 5-year-olds not spared, killed by Pakistani cowards. Big New Year jolt to the lobby. They've lost even the demo card. Supreme Court says demonetization was valid. Even the dissenting Supreme Court judge has backed the intent behind demonetization and the fact that it was needed to fight black money and terror funding. As the nation was ringing in the new year, bringing in 2023, a 20-year-old event management company employee, a 20-year-old, riding back home a little after 2 a.m. She is knocked down by a car in which there are 5 passengers, including the driver. And then she's mowed down and her body dragged for 13 kilometers. Now, in the last 24 hours, when we've been reporting the story, the police in Delhi has gone on record claiming that it was not 13. They started by saying that the body was dragged for about 4 kilometers. Now, several CCTV sequences have emerged in the course of our reporting. And in the course of our reporting, this is one CCTV recorded at 3:05 a.m. on the 1st of January that shows that the body was dragged by the car. It's a 4-wheeler, it's a hatchback, it's a Baleno, and the body is below the car, and the car is not traveling at a high speed. In 13 kilometers, that's 13 kilometers, was covered by about 47 minutes according to our reports, which means the car wasn't traveling really fast. Look at the video. The car was moving around the national capital, 13 kilometers, and the body of this 20-year-old is stuck beneath the car. Initially, we were told that there was loud music that was being played inside the vehicle, because of which the passengers didn't realize that they were dragging the body of a 20-year-old. That was the lame excuse that was given. Some of which was also echoed in several news conferences in the last 24 hours on record. But it appears that the cover-up was questioned, and the police has been forced to admit that it was not 4 kilometers, but more than 10. They say more than 10, but it was 13 kilometers. We'll tell you more about that, and also the eyewitnesses who made those calls. So in India's national capital for 13 kilometers, not a single call was answered for nearly 47 minutes. Take a look at what the eyewitnesses are saying this evening.
सब सुबह 3:18 मैंने अपनी शॉप ओपन की थी। उस टाइम मैंने गाड़ी की आवाज़ आई, पीछे से कोई गाड़ी आ रही है और उसका शायद टायर फट रहा है, और जैसे टायर फटने की आवाज़ आती है ऐसी आवाज़ उसमें अंदर से आ रही थी। तो मैंने इसकी तरफ ध्यान दिया तो मेरा पूरा फोकस गाड़ी की तरफ हो चुका था, और ये यहाँ से बिल्कुल खंबे के पास से खड़ा हो गया। मैंने यहाँ जस्ट देखा, वो टायर फटने की आवाज़ नहीं थी, वो डेड बॉडी नीचे लगती हुई चल रही थी। डेड बॉडी मेरे को नजर आई तो तभी के तभी मैंने 3:20 पे हमने
कितनी स्पीड उस समय गाड़ी की होगी?
उसकी ज्यादा से ज्यादा 20 से 25 की स्पीड थी, उससे ज्यादा नहीं थी।
20 की स्पीड पे वो गाड़ी खींचते हुए ले जा रहा था। डेड बॉडी आपने नीचे देखी?
डेड बॉडी
स्कूटी भी फंसी हुई थी?
नहीं स्कूटी यहाँ नहीं फंसी हुई थी। वो तो एक्सीडेंट तो वहाँ बताया जा रहा है ना, सुल्तानपुरी हुआ है।
डेड बॉडी आपने देखा? हाँ, डेड गाड़ी के नीचे फंसी।
हाँ बिल्कुल।
उसके बाद आपने पुलिस को कॉल किया?
हाँ, मैंने 112 नंबर कॉल किया पहले, और तब जैसे 3:20 मैंने पहले कॉल की। उस टाइम मेरी मैडम से बात हुई, मैडम ऐसे कोई डेड बॉडी है, बलेनो गाड़ी है ग्रे कलर की, और वो कुतुबगढ़ साइड जा रही है, खंडावाला साइड से, और उसमें डेड बॉडी नीचे फंसी हुई है और वो निकल नहीं रही है। बंदा गाड़ी रोक नहीं रहा है, वो चलता जा रहा है 20 से 25 की स्पीड में। तो मैडम ने बोले ठीक है, आपसे संपर्क कर रही है, PCR भी गया। अभी मैंने फ़ोन काट दिया, फ़ोन करने उन्होंने दोबारा रिटर्न फ़ोन किया, बोला डेड बॉडी है, कफन में है या वैसे है? मानी कफन में नहीं है, वो बगैर कफन है और ऊपर से नगन है। निचले साइड में कुछ है ब्लैक कलर का, क्या लोअर है, जींस है, पैंट है, पजामी है, जो भी है। तो उसमें उस टाइम तक मैं शो नहीं कर पाता कि वो लेडीज है जेंट्स है, लेकिन ये था कि उसमें डेड बॉडी है।
अच्छा, जिस समय आपने कॉल करी या जिस समय की ये घटना है, क्योंकि अमूमन आप खोलते होंगे 3 साढ़े 3 बजे दुकान, तो क्या पुलिस की पेट्रोलिंग इस रोड पे, या फिर क्योंकि उस दिन 31 दिसंबर की रात थी, कुछ स्पेशल अरेंजमेंट या कुछ भी पेट्रोलिंग देखने को मिल रही?
नहीं, PCR तो मेरे सामने से 3 PCR गुजरी हैं, लेकिन कोई एक्टिवपना मेरे को शायद नज़र नहीं आया, या उनको मेरी बात झूठ लगी, या उनको ये नहीं पता था कि ये गाड़ी वो है। बल्कि जिस टाइम से मेरे 3 PCR मेरे सामने से गुजरी हैं, उस टाइम से पहले मैं गाड़ी का नंबर दे चुका था। गाड़ी
का नंबर आपने नोट कर लिया?
हाँ, गाड़ी का नंबर नोट कर लिया, गाड़ी का नंबर दे चुका था, गाड़ी का रंग बता चुका था, और मॉडल बता चुका था, बलेनो गाड़ी है। सब कुछ होने के बावजूद भी 3 PCR मेरे सामने से गुजर गई, और उसको बस उनके हाथ नहीं पड़ा।
और लगभग कितनी देर बाद ये कार्रवाई होती है, या फिर आप पे जब दोबारा कोई कॉल बैक आई हो कि भाई आपने ऐसा रिपोर्ट कराया, आपने देखा, आप पहले विटनेस?
मेरी कॉलिंग चलती ही रही है साहब। जैसे 3:20 पे पहली कॉलिंग थी, और 3:30 पे वो गाड़ी आगे से यहाँ से तकरीबन 2-2.5 किलोमीटर स्पॉट है जहाँ डेड बॉडी थी, उससे रिटर्न करके घुमा के यहाँ बिल्कुल मेरी दुकान के सामने आती है। उस टाइम भी उसके साथ डेड बॉडी होती है, तो मैं उसका पीछा करते हुए मैंने तभी गया फ़ोन दोबारा जिस पीछे।
The postmortem of the 20-year-old is now complete, and the family says they will not cremate the body of the 20-year-old until the report is out, and the report is expected on Tuesday around 10 a.m. They're saying if there is no postmortem report and if the truth doesn't emerge, they will not cremate their daughter. These were protests outside the police station, protests against the police, protests also against politicians who tried to instigate using this incident. The Aam Aadmi Party leaders also landed up there trying to score a political point by taking on the center, but the family would have none of it, saying they just want justice, not politics at this point. Takes us to the big questions. Before I go across to Suesha, joining us live from the national capital, she's been reporting from there, and the basic question, was the body dragged for more than 47 minutes and over 13 kilometers, and how is it that nobody noticed? On that question, how did the body go unnoticed for over 12 kilometers? So over 12 kilometers. Police says 12 kilometers. How did nobody, there is no policeman, notice? There were people who noticed, there were people who made the calls, people who say they saw the PCR van pass through, and still not a single police officer noticed. Let me go across to Suesha, joining us live. Suesha, some of the questions that we've been asking all day, right? It's a basic question. In India's capital for 47 minutes, nobody stops a car.
Oh, it is absolutely unbelievable, honestly, Niranjan, to what the police has been saying until now. You know, I have been reporting here, and just to imagine what the victim must have gone through is horrifying, to say the least. It is a cold winter evening, and the temperature almost touches 11 degrees on some nights. It was New Year's Eve. On a night when there is ideally supposed to be heightened security, the police is trying to say that there weren't enough checkpoints when they are claiming that they had actually deployed additional forces on New Year's Eve. Then, you know, even as I've been standing here and reporting, so many Baleno cars have passed. It is just difficult to imagine that on a Baleno car there was a body that was getting dragged for a good 13 kilometers for 47 minutes through that entire stretch, and no one noticed. These 5 accused were in that car. They had passed from a police station also. They were driving at a steady speed is what the eyewitness has claimed. But how is it that no one noticed? And despite the eyewitness making constant calls to the police, to the PCR on a night when the Delhi police is all the more active, because it is taken that most people are celebrating New Year's, a lot of people are drunk, there are additional checkpoints to check for whether anyone is driving under the influence of alcohol. Through this entire stretch, there was no checkpoint. And then the police is saying that no, because the car was not moving from a main road, it was moving from within narrow lanes. So it was something that did not come to the police's notice. This is such a bizarre explanation, because it was New Year's night, and all the more when such incidents happen, they happen in very remote areas. All the more a reason why a PCR van keeps driving through such areas to see if there is anything fishy, if there is anything that they need to take notice of. The changing versions of the police since yesterday of the statements that they have been saying, it's just not cutting eyes, and which is why the family is also saying that how can they outright reject a sexual assault angle. The family is claiming that probably the victim was raped, there was sexual assault, and after that they took her life. But then again, the accused so far, who have been sent to 3-day police custody, have been saying that they were not under the influence of alcohol and there was no sexual assault. But these are all the angles that the Delhi police needs to look into. Now, heavily relying on the post-mortem report, which is expected at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And they are saying that the other charges will be added if there is sexual assault, is what the post-mortem report says. But just the very lackadaisical attitude of the police, just of how plainly they have been putting out this information, which is just hard for anyone to believe as to how all of this could go unnoticed, of how they have been so plainly talking about whether the accused were under the influence of alcohol or not, of how a body is being dragged for good 13 kilometers but it goes unnoticed. So we saw slogans being raised all day here where huge crowds had gathered, the kind of outrage that is there among the people, because they are saying this is about the victim, this is about their daughters, this is about the safety of women in the national capital. This is the national capital where 10 years ago Nirbhaya had happened, and we should have learned our lessons from there on. The police should have acted on time. Then why is it that despite getting repeated calls, the police did not act? Why did they take 47 long minutes? And to be precise, when the first call was made, it was close to 3:15. 5 a.m. is what the eyewitness is claiming that the police actually acted on it. Why? And these are the answers that the Delhi police must give.
Yeah, and just to put that in video and in perspective, Suesha, we have a video that puts it in perspective on why it does not add up. Why what the police has been saying, the Delhi police has been saying doesn't add up. Let's in fact pull that up on the wall. It doesn't add up. Look at that, 3:24 a.m. the PCR call received about a body stuck to the wheels of a car. Now that's what different eyewitnesses speaking to Republic TV are saying, that at 3:04, one is saying that a little after 3:05, one is saying 3:24. 29 minutes later, at 3:53, the Sultanpuri SHO, the station officer, finds a damaged two-wheeler. And much later, 47 minutes later almost, the car is spotted once again with the body of the 20-year-old clearly seen. Look at this. It's seen here, stuck to the car, taking a U-turn. Several CCTV videos have already captured this. And it's traveling and not at a high speed. And it just does not add up. In fact, I want to go back to Suesha for just one short question. Suesha, if I can come back to you. The family is saying, all right, we have some breaking news update. We have accessed the Delhi hit and run FIR copy. I have that. I think that's breaking news right now. Suesha just breaking into our newsrooms, trying to get more details on it. Suesha just picking those details up. And the hit and run FIR copy has been accessed. We'll also try and go across to Shravan Sen, who's sharing the details with the relevant sections. The police earlier also put out another press release saying that they could be adding sections to it, saying they haven't added some sections and they could be adding those sections after the post-mortem. Let me go across to you, Suesha, while I get Shravan live as well. What can you tell us? In fact, the time mentioned here, Suesha, is between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. So the exact time is not known. The FIR doesn't mention the exact time, mentions between 2 and 4 a.m. Shravan, what are you picking up from this FIR? Any new details that are emerging as the investigation progresses? Shravan.
But Niranjan, some of the details that we had reported a short while back, there is a clear gap from the first call that was actually made, and this was a PCR call that was actually made, and thereafter a sub-inspector himself spotting the car. So there is a time gap, and that is something that the Delhi police will have to answer. Now, in the FIR copy, page number 2, where they basically contain the details of who exactly took the note of this particular incident. They say it is the duty officer who had taken the diary entry. The information that we have is that there was a diary entry of which was 13A and 15A, but surprisingly it finds no mention in the FIR. In fact, in the FIR, they make a mention of diary entry number 19A. So what really happened to diary entry 1 and 2, in which there is the numbers are 13 and 15. What's really happened to those diary entries? Because the significance of those two diary entries, Niranjan, is the fact that it shows the first time when they got the information. That is the first call that was actually made, the PCR call. In fact, some of the details that we have, Niranjan, with regards to the timing of the first diary entry of 13A, that was around 3:24 in the morning. The Kanjawala police station received a call in which they made a mention of the grey color Baleno and the dead body that was also spotted. Thereafter, which is about 29 minutes later, around 3:53 in the morning, when the SHO of Sultanpuri, who was on night patrolling, had spotted the scooty in the middle of the road, and it was he who had informed the Sultanpuri police station. 47 minutes after the first PCR call and 19 minutes after the information about the damaged scooty, it was around 4:11 that they got another PCR call. This was at the Kanjawala police station, and this time it is about the victim's body lying on the road. Now, this call was recorded as a daily diary entry number 15A. If you take a look at the FIR that has been registered, the FIR makes no mention of these two diary entries. The FIR directly goes and makes a mention of 19A. Now, there is a slim reference of it of a diary entry 13A and 15A and 17A in the FIR also, but in that they are not detailing the information that we have now accessed. So there appears that they had a good amount of about 40 to 45 minutes before they actually responded. So the bigger question that comes up right now, Niranjan, is that despite having the information with them about such a car and the fact that the dead body was spotted, why is it that they did not act on it immediately?
Shravan, just picking up more details, it appears from the FIR that there are several mentions of drinking and driving, and the accused admitting that they hit the vehicle, they hit the two-wheeler, and they were scared and they started moving towards Kanjawala. So they knew they had knocked down the scooter, the victim, and they very well knew where they were going. And perhaps they were drunk, going by what the FIR mentions.
Well, in fact, if you juxtapose that information with what we have right now, the questioning of the accused here makes a mention of the fact that there was no check post, they were not stopped by the police, and the fact that they are still maintaining that they were not under the influence of alcohol, and they continued driving. But the fact of the matter is that the police essentially indicated in the FIR that they were well aware of what really happened, and it was much later that they got down of the car and then they left the dead body on the road, and they left from the very spot. The question here is that once again also raises another question with regards to the police, because remember, the police station is not very far away from where the incident has actually taken place. And remember, this happens on the intervening night of 31st and 1st, when Delhi police had made that tall claim that maximum deployment was actually made on that very day. If that was the case, how is it possible that it took almost over 40 minutes for the police to actually respond to the first PCR call that came in around 3:23 in the morning?
Yes, Shravan will try and get you live as well. I'm just getting in a response from Suesha as well. Suesha, looking at the details in the FIR mentions the fact that those inside the car admit to hitting the vehicle, admit to drinking, admit to knocking down the 20-year-old and moving towards Khanjawala. That's mentioned. Do you see any inconsistencies here in what the versions were yesterday and the one coming out today?
So I just want to bring your attention to the sections that have been mentioned in the FIR. That is section 279 of the IPC and 304A of the IPC. So section 279 is rash driving and section 304A is death due to negligence. This is exactly what the Delhi police has been saying so far. So several questions that are staring at the Delhi police, and especially in terms of the claims that are being made by the victim's family, where they are saying that the accused must have been under the influence of alcohol, something that is refuted by the accused so far, but a charge that has not been pressed in the FIR by the Delhi police. Again, of a sexual assault angle that again the family of the victim has been claiming. You see how the police has been making it look like it is not as grave. And that is what the police has been doing ever since yesterday, of when they are putting out such barbaric information of how the girl lost her life, of how the victim was dragged for over 13 kilometers. Let's not forget, when the news had broken, there were details of how the body was dragged for 4 kilometers, but now it's come up to 13. And the car maintained the same speed. It was not moving on a very high speed. So it is very, very horrifying to imagine what the victim must have gone through in such a time. Of course, she lost her life, but the very fact that with the way the Delhi police has been investigating this entire case, their attitude, not just before when the incident was happening, and of course the eyewitness also saying that they were just not paying attention, making the allegation that they were not seeming interested at all. Even after such a horrifying case has come to light, and the entire country is talking about it, they want answers, the victim's family is demanding justice, the police is putting out details as if it's not even as grave.
Item accordingly. So, I think they'll reach in the morning. We have already requested them to come at the earliest, but they will reach in the morning. Till that time, we are securing the perimeter of this area. And I will request all of you also to, step behind, because we don't know for sure what kind of item it is at this stage of time. The details will be known once the team reaches here tomorrow and share the details with us.
In fact, just some more details that I'm picking up from the FR. I'm just reading from it, Suesha. It says here, they stopped the vehicle. गाड़ी को रोके तो गाड़ी के नीचे स्कूटी वाली लड़की दिखाई दी, जो वे सभी लड़की को वही छोड़कर वापस डर के मारे अपने दोस्त आशुतोष के घर पहुंचे और वहां गाड़ी खड़ी करके अपने दो घर चले गए. And these are details that are coming out. So it appears that these men who were inside the car knew exactly what they had done, what they were doing. Suesha, it appears that they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yes, absolutely. And that is also information that has come out, Shravan, that they were driving at a constant speed. They were not on a very high speed. This explanation that the accused have given to the police, and the police is putting out that the music in the car was too loud, so they did not realize, is something that just cannot be believed. And it is a car which is Baleno. Even if a small stone gets stuck in a car like that, it is very evident to the person on the wheel that there is something that is creating an obstacle in between the tires. So a girl was actually getting dragged by the car, and how is it that they did not notice? And then there are details of how they stopped the car, they saw the body, and they left from there. So, of course, the accused have been sent to 5-day police custody, 3-day police custody, where the police is questioning them on all these details, on why they were driving in that particular stretch, of whether they had actually assaulted the girl, of, why didn't they take her for further help, or why didn't they take her to the hospital?
Yeah.
But then again, the role of the police is highly questionable in a case like this that has once again sent shivers down the spine of the people of the national capital all day here, Niranjan. I've heard loud cries from people who are questioning the police for their safety, who are saying, how do we possibly believe you? Are our daughters safe? Are the women in the national capital safe? And after seeing a Nirbhaya 10 years ago, why is it that today such a barbaric accident or incident or a case which could be murder, is what is being said by the family of the victim, has actually happened?
Suresha, we'll wait for that report, expected at about 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, according to the police. We'll take a short break now. Stay tuned.
The most gruesome killing of 20-year-old. Family alleges death is a case of rape and murder. Complete breakdown of law and order under Delhi police. Arnab debates at 9 p.m.
I'm Shravan Sen reporting from New Delhi, and this is Republic TV.
आग को फैलने से रोकना मुश्किल है, पर नामुमकिन नहीं। अब फायरवॉल टेक्नोलॉजी के साथ सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम आग से बचाए।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी, जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज़्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की
Getting some breaking news now. Home Minister Amit Shah has sought a report on the Delhi hit and run case. Details coming in. The Home Minister has also sent out a message that they should act. Home Minister intervening, seeking a report from the Delhi police, directing the police to act swiftly and report back. And the message also going out that they should act without fear or favor. That's the message that they've sent out. They should be acting without fear or favor. And that's the message that's going out. Getting in a breaking news update as the entire country talks about the Delhi hit and run case. The Home Minister directly intervening, asking the police to report back to him on what happened, what has happened so far, and the action taken. A complete report is expected to be handed over to him soon. That's the breaking news update coming in. The Special Commissioner of Police has been directed to take action and then report back. The Home Minister Amit Shah has intervened and has asked the Special Commissioner of Police, Shalini Singh, to act swiftly and report back. And the message that's going out is to act without fear or favor. That's the breaking news update on the biggest story tonight, as we take another short break and come back with the details of the FIR and the story as it unfolded in the national capital. Stay tuned. All right, we're staying with more details on the story right now as we access the FIR as well. The FIR revealing some more details. I'll go across to Suesha if she is live with us. Suesha has been reporting on the story along with Shravan, Piyush, and the entire team of reporters in the national capital on this story from the national capital. The Home Minister is intervening. Home Minister Amit Shah intervening in the Delhi hit and run case, asking for the police to report back to him on what action was taken and what they will now do in the case. The message going out: act without fear or favor.
गांव के लोगों को भी और भी कहीं संभावित होगा तो वहां भी।
सर, जम्मू रीजन में जो टेररिज्म को रिवाइव करने की कोशिश की जा रही है, उस पे किस तरह से?
All right, we just had a feed coming in from Rajouri, where the Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha visited the families and said he would ensure that the attack in Rajouri is avenged. Those were pictures coming in. These were deferred visuals from when the attack took place, when there was an explosion. And we just had pictures of Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha visiting the families there in Rajouri and assuring them of action that will be taken. Forces have been given a free hand to respond to the cowards, the Pakistani terrorists who targeted civilians. Look at that, those pictures from earlier today when we were reporting. My colleague Gursimran was live as it happened, and he brought us those pictures as those wounded were carried on the shoulders by our brave forces who ensured they acted in time to save the lives of how many ever citizens, civilians they could. Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor also holding a security review of the situation in Jammu and Kashmir after the attacks. There were 2 attacks in 24 hours. The first attack last night when 3 homes were fired upon, indiscriminate firing in Rajouri, when civilians were targeted. Their Aadhaar cards were asked for by these terrorists. Their identities were looked at and they were shot dead for their identities. Pritam Lal, one of them. Let's cut across live. The Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor speaking live once again. We'll just cut across the moment we have that feed. Going across live to Rajouri once again.
भाग्यपूर्ण दुखद घटना हुई है। सूचना मिलते ही हम सब यहाँ आए हैं। प्रशासन के जितने भी हमारे वरिष्ठ सहयोगी हैं सभी यहाँ मौजूद हैं और अदर एडीजीपी और डीजीपी साहब पहले ही आ गए थे। ये लोग काम कर रहे हैं। मैंने व्यक्तिगत रूप से उन लोगों से बातचीत की है। ये पता है कि मौत का कोई मुआवजा नहीं होता, प्रशासन का अपना धर्म है। जो व्यवस्थाएं हैं उनका पूरा इस्तेमाल करके उन परिवारों की देखभाल हम लोग करेंगे। सरकारी नौकरी भी देंगे, आर्थिक मुआवजा भी देंगे। कुछ कंसर्न्स उन लोगों ने उठाए हैं, उन कंसर्न्स को भी हम हल करेंगे। अभी एक सिक्योरिटी की भी मीटिंग की गई है। 2-3 फैसले हम लोगों ने किए हैं। एक तो इस मामले की गंभीरता से जांच और तह तक पहुंचना, क्योंकि ये नापाक कोशिश से फिर से वो स्थिति लाने की वो
So the pictures coming in of the Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha visiting the families of the victims. 6 lives lost in 15 hours. The first attack last night when there was indiscriminate firing by Pakistani terrorists on 3 homes 50 meters from each other. And this morning, IEDs that were placed exploded, killing 2 others. 2 children were killed in that attack. We'll also play out the reports that were filed by my colleague Gursimran. Gursimran was reporting live since last night. We have those reports from Rajouri. The story as it happened, we held back to these reports because there was a live operation. We're playing out the reports. It's a deferred report that we're playing out from Rajouri as it happened.
से पहुंचे हैं, वहां पे ब्लास्ट एकाएक इतना बड़ा धमाका हुआ है, उसी घर में धमाका जो है हुआ है। ये बच्चा जो है, इसे भी यहाँ पर माइनर इंजरीज जो हैं वो यहाँ पर आई हैं। आप देखिए ये जो लेडीज हैं, सरजीवन ये लेडीज जो हैं, ये कितना नुकसान जो है शत विशत पूरी तरह से हो गई हैं। यानी कि ये पॉसिबिलिटी है कि यहाँ पर एक जो है बड़ा ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ये देखिए लगातार सरजीवन आपको विजुअल्स दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरह से सुरक्षा बल जो है वो यहाँ पर तैनात थे और चंद मीटर की दूरी पर जो है एक बड़ा ब्लास्ट यहाँ पर हुआ है। अब लोगों को यहाँ पे जो है सुरक्षा बल कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द जो है वो यहाँ पे ले जाया जाए। सरजीवन किधर आया?
कोई पता नहीं आया कुछ आया बैठे सो
अच्छा एक ही जड़ है। तो ठीक वही घर जिसमें कि सबसे पहला ब्लास्ट हुआ था, वहां पे जो आतंकियों द्वारा हम सर पहले घर पे ब्लास्ट हुआ था, इससे बड़ा ब्लास्ट देखिए लगातार जो अब भारतीय सेना जो है वो यहाँ पे इंजर्ड्स को लेकर जा रही है। ये देखिए इंजर्ड्स को यहाँ पर लेकर जाया जा रहा है। जान पर खेलते हुए भारतीय सेना के जवान जो हैं वो यहाँ पर इंजर्ड्स को लेकर जा रहे हैं। लगातार आप देखिए पूरे इलाके में जो है वो यहाँ पर सर्च चल रहा है। एक ब्लास्ट जो है वो उसी घर में ब्लास्ट हुआ है जहाँ पे सबसे पहले आतंकियों ने जो है दीपक शर्मा के घर पे मौत के घाट उतारा था कुछ लोगों को। बड़ा ब्लास्ट जो है वो ठीक उनके बरामदे में हुआ है और ऊपर की तरफ आप देखेंगे अब हेलीकॉप्टर्स के जरिए जो है नजर रखी जा रही है। स्पेशल ऑपरेशंस ग्रुप, भारतीय सेना सभी जो है वो अब फॉरवर्ड में मूव कर रहे हैं। बच्चा जो है वो भी यहाँ पर इसमें घायल हुआ है। अब बच्चों को यहाँ से ले जाया जा रहा है और जो टीम्स हैं भारतीय सेना की उन्हें यहाँ पर आप देखिए मूव किया जा रहा है। किस तरह से लगातार सभी टीम्स को मूव किया जा रहा है क्योंकि एक बड़ा ब्लास्ट जो है वो यहाँ पर जो है रिपोर्ट किया गया है। एक मैसिव ब्लास्ट था और अब आप देखिए भारतीय सेना जो है वो यहाँ पर ऑपरेशन साइट्स पर जा रही है और इंजर्ड्स को यहाँ से लेकर जाया जा रहा है। लगातार विजुअल सरजीवन आपको दिखा रहे हैं कि जो लोग यहाँ पे घायल हुए हैं उन्हें यहाँ पर ले जाया जा रहा है। अब आप देखिए कि वाहन जो है वो यहाँ पर आ रहे हैं। लगातार विजुअल्स जो हैं वो आपको दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरह से जो है सुरक्षा बल अब ये कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द इन इंजर्ड्स को जो है यहाँ पे ले जाया जाए। एक बड़ा धमाका जो है वो ठीक उसी घर में हुआ है जहाँ पे पहले आतंकियों ने जो है दीपक शर्मा को निशाना बनाया था और अब यहाँ पे इंजर्ड्स को ले जाया जा रहा है। भारतीय सेना, जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस और तमाम आला अफसर, एम्बुलेंसेस जो हैं वो यहाँ पे पहुँच रही है। भारतीय सेना की ये एम्बुलेंस रिपब्लिक मीडिया नेटवर्क ये आपको दिखा रहा है कि अब एम्बुलेंस में जो है इंजर्ड्स को लेकर जाया जाएगा। भारतीय सेना
Getting you a quick check of the top 50 stories of the day. Republic has accessed CCTV footage that shows how the dead body of the 20-year-old was entangled in the wheels of the car around 3 a.m. on January 1st. Police has changed its version in the hit-and-run case. Police has admitted that the body of the 20-year-old was dragged for at least 12 kilometers.
5 अभियुक्तों को गिरफ्तार किया है। इसमें एक मेडिकल बोर्ड कॉन्स्टिट्यूट कराया जा रहा है जिसकी रिपोर्ट के आधार पर फर्दर इन्वेस्टिगेशन होगा।
Scores of protesters gathered outside the Sultanpuri police station and blocked traffic, demanding punishment for those responsible for the woman's death. AAP also staged protests outside LG residence, demanding action over Delhi police lapses. Family of 20-year-old victim has alleged that this is a case of rape and murder. Police said relevant sections will be added in the FIR after the post-mortem report. Delhi police has booked the accused for causing death by negligence and refusal to answer to public servant. Police has said that more sections will be added based on the autopsy report. Protesters outside the Sultanpuri police station drove out AAP MLA Rakhi Birla, who para-dropped at the protest site to meet the family. Protesters said that this case shouldn't be politicized. AAP has alleged that the Delhi police is attempting a cover-up in the case as one of the accused, Manoj Mittal, is a BJP worker.
22 बार पुलिस को फोन करता है, 22 बार, और पुलिस उस गाड़ी को नहीं पकड़ पाती है। वो आदमी लगातार उस गाड़ी का पीछा कर रहा है, वो गाड़ी वहीं उस इलाके में घूम रही है, आगे जाती है, यू टर्न लेके फिर आती है, फिर आगे से फिर यू टर्न लेके फिर आती है। पुलिस उनको रंगे हाथों नहीं पकड़ पाती। 4:11 पर जब कॉल आती है कि साहब एक जगह लाश पड़ी है, एक लड़की की नग्न अवस्था में है, तो पुलिस उस लाश को बरामद करने पहुंचती है।
Delhi court remanded the 5 accused in 3-day police custody. Police told the court that the probe was in the initial stages and custodial interrogation of the accused was required for taking it forward. One of the eyewitnesses in the case, who made the first PCR call, has said that he saw the car took a U-turn and made a couple of rounds with the body entangled in the wheels. He also said that there was no immediate response to his call.
मैंने 112 नंबर कॉल किया पहले, और तब जैसे 3:20 मैंने पहले कॉल की। उस टाइम मेरी मैडम से बात हुई, मैडम ऐसे ऐसे कोई डेड बॉडी है, बलेनो गाड़ी है ग्रे कलर की, और वो कुतुबगढ़ साइड जा रही है, खंडावाला साइड से, और उसमें डेड बॉडी नीचे फंसी हुई है और वो निकल नहीं रही है, बंदा गाड़ी रोक नहीं रहा है, वो चलता जा रहा है 20 से 25 की स्पीड में। तो मैडम ने बोले ठीक है, आपसे संपर्क कर रही है, PCR भी गया। अभी मैंने फ़ोन काट दिया, फ़ोन करने उन्होंने दोबारा रिटर्न फ़ोन किया, बोला डेड बॉडी है, कफन में है या वैसे है? मानी कफन में नहीं है, वो बगैर कफन है और ऊपर से नगन है, निचले साइड में कुछ है ब्लैक कलर का, क्या लोअर है, जींस है, पैंट है, पजामी है, जो भी है। तो उसमें उस टाइम तक मैं शो नहीं कर पाया था कि वो लेडीज है जेंट्स है, लेकिन ये था कि उसमें डेड बॉडी है।
Sources have said that the accused have admitted that they did not come across any checkpoint or police van as the car dragged the woman for close to 13 kilometers. And getting more breaking news now, more than 6 years after the centre's decision to demonetize the 1,000 and 5,000 rupee denomination notes, the Supreme Court in a 4-1 majority verdict upheld the 2016 move, saying the decision-making process was not flawed merely because the procedure emanated from the government. The verdict comes as a big jolt to the lobby that opposed the government's 2016 move, calling the demonetization of the 500 and 1,000 currency notes deeply flawed. Senior advocate P. Chidambaram, who appeared in the court on behalf of the petitioners, had argued that the centre cannot on its own initiate any proposal relating to legal tender, which can only be done on the recommendations of the RBI's central board. Justice B.V. Nagaratna, who gave a dissenting verdict on the demonetization, said the scrapping of the whole series of 500 and 1,000 rupee currency notes had to be done through a legislation and not through a gazette notification, as Parliament cannot be left aloof in a matter of such critical importance. Justice Nagaratna, the lone dissenting judge, however, added that demonetization was well-intentioned to target evils plaguing the nation's economy, such as black money, terror funding and counterfeit currency. The BJP hailed the Supreme Court judgment upholding the government's demonetization exercise as historic and slammed the Congress for its campaign against the decision and asked if its leaders Rahul Gandhi will tender an apology after the verdict.
The Supreme Court today, by a majority judgment of 4-1, has dismissed all the 58 writ petitions challenging the constitutional validity of the historic demonetization scheme launched in 2016 by the Narendra Modi government.
A 4-year-old child was killed and 7 people, 3 of them children, were injured in an IED explosion near the house of one of the victims of the terrorist attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri. On Sunday evening, terrorists opened fire on 3 houses in the area.
ब्लास्ट एकाएक इतना बड़ा धमाका हुआ है, उसी घर में धमाका जो है हुआ है। ये बच्चा जो है, इसे भी यहाँ पर माइनर इंजरीज जो हैं वो यहाँ पर आई हैं। आप देखिए ये जो लेडीज हैं, सरजीवन ये लेडीज जो है ये कितना नुकसान जो है शत विशत पूरी तरह से हो गई हैं। यानी कि ये पॉसिबिलिटी है कि यहाँ पर एक जो है बड़ा ब्लास्ट हुआ है। ये देखिए लगातार सरजीवन आपको विजुअल्स दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरह से सुरक्षा बल जो है वो यहाँ पर तैनात।
The blast took place near the house of Preetham Lal, a victim of the terror attack. The improvised explosive device was planted beneath a bag when it exploded. A 4-year-old child and a 5-year-old were killed in a span of 15 hours in Rajouri.
ये लगातार जो अब भारतीय सेना जो है वो यहाँ पे इंजर्ड्स को लेकर जा रही है। ये देखिए इंजर्ड्स को यहाँ पर लेकर जाया जा रहा है। जान पर खेलते हुए भारतीय सेना के जवान जो हैं वो यहाँ पर इंजर्ड्स को लेकर जा रहे हैं। लगातार आप देखिए पूरे इलाके में जो है वो यहाँ पर सर्च चल रहा है। एक ब्लास्ट जो है वो उसी घर में ब्लास्ट हुआ है जहाँ पे सबसे पहले आतंकियों ने जो है दीपक शर्मा के घर पे मौत के घाट उतारा था कुछ लोगों को। बड़ा ब्लास्ट जो है वो ठीक उनके बरामदे में हुआ है और ऊपर की तरफ आप देखेंगे अब हेलीकॉप्टर्स के जरिए जो है नजर रखी जा रही है।
One of the victims who lost her husband in the terror attack confirmed to Republic that terrorists asked for the Aadhaar cards, checked identities of the victims and then opened fire.
मेरा पति है ना वो रास्ते से आ रहे थे, फिर वो ससुराल वाले जो आग सेक रहे थे घर पे, फिर मैं खाना बना रही थी, चूल्हे के पास बैठी खाना बना रही थी। फिर मैं खाना बना रही थी तो उन्होंने बोला है आप अंदर चलो हैं। मैं किस लिए, पहले बच्चे उन्हें अंदर किए हैं आप अंदर चलो हैं, फिर बच्चे उन्हें अंदर कर दिए। फिर मेरे को बोले आप भी अंदर चलो। मैं किस लिए अंदर नहीं जाना, हम इधर बाहर ही रुकेंगे, आपने आधार कार्ड चेक करो तो चेक कर लो।
The terror attacks occurring barely 14 hours apart triggered protests across the district, including in Rajouri town amid a complete shutdown. Officials said a team of National Investigation Agency has reached Dangri and it will conduct an initial probe. The Jammu and Kashmir Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha visited Rajouri. He said that those behind the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Dangri village will not go unpunished. And speaking about the Rajouri terror attack, NC patron Farooq Abdullah sort of gave a clean sheet to the terrorists. He said that the attack took place because of the Hindu-Muslim divide created in the country.
ये बहुत ही दुख की बात है कि आतंकवाद अभी भी इस रियासत में चल रहा है, बेगुनाहों को मारा जा रहा है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है, बेगुनाह वो किसी भी मजहब से ताल्लुक।
PDP chief Mehbooba Mufti too took a similar line and said that Hindu-Muslim narrative is to be blamed for the attack in Rajouri.
तो हम क्या कह सकते हैं, इसकी हम मजम्मत करते हैं और साथ ही क्या कहें, ये तो अल्लाह ताला बेहतर जानता है कि जो उनके घर वाले हैं उनके साथ हम हमदर्दी करना चाहते हैं और अल्लाह ताला से दुआ करते हैं उनको सब्र तहम्मुल दे, अल्लाह ताला इसको बर्दाश्त करने की। ये हमारा ही नुकसान है, जम्मू कश्मीर के लोगों का नुकसान है।
Cricketer Rishabh Pant has been shifted to the ICU from the ICU to the private ward of the Max Hospital in Dehradun after his condition has improved. A brutal murder has been reported on a college campus in Bengaluru. As per the initial investigation, a first-year student stabbed a girl 4 times in the neck and then attempted to kill himself. The accused has now been shifted to the hospital for treatment. A businessman in Bengaluru has shot himself inside a car. It is suspected that he committed suicide due to financial reasons. He has named BJP MLA in his suicide note. A bomb disposal squad was rushed to the spot after reports that a bombshell was found a few hundred meters away from the official residences of Punjab and Haryana chief ministers. Republic has accessed videos that show massive protest against Pakistan government in Gilgit-Baltistan. The protests are against illegal imposition of taxes on people of Gilgit-Baltistan. Protesters have said they will move to Ladakh and Kargil if Pakistan fails to act. West Bengal Chief Minister and TMC Supremo Mamata Banerjee lashed out at both her opponents in the state, BJP and the CPM-led Left Front, claiming the ideological opposites, Rambam, had allied covertly. Actor Shazan Khan's family members held a news conference and claimed he was being falsely implicated in the case of death of co-star Tanisha Sharma by Tanisha's mother.
अगर अंदर बुलाते तो आधा घंटा 40 मिनट लग जाता। प्रोडक्शन की गाड़ी थी,
तो वो लेके भागे क्योंकि वो सेंसिबल डिसीजन था और अकेला शिजान रूम में एंटर नहीं किया था,
दरवाजा तोड़ा गया था।
लोगों ने उसके साथ में दरवाजा तोड़ा है। तो विटनेस है जो पुलिस के पास हैं, ये कहा जा चुके हैं। यस, तो ये सच नहीं है।
Voicing deep concern over the raging Ukraine conflict, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has said that India is on the side of peace, and since the beginning of the hostilities, New Delhi's effort has been to bring Moscow and Kiev to return to dialogue and diplomacy, as differences cannot be settled through violence. And getting you a quick check of international news, Israel's military demolished the houses of two Palestinian gunmen. The demolition sparked unrest, which left 2 men killed in Palestinian village of Kafradan in West Bank. Thousands gathered in Jenin to mourn 2 Palestinians killed in unrest in West Bank. 4 passengers were killed while 3 others were critically injured after 2 helicopters collided in an Australian tourist hotspot. One helicopter appeared to have been taking off and the other landing when they collided near the SeaWorld theme park in a northern beach on the Gold Coast. Mourners queued to see Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI's body lie in state in St. Peter's Basilica. Residents of a Northern California community were ordered to evacuate ahead of imminent flooding and evacuation warnings. Heavy rain flooded roads and properties in Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah, which is surrounded by the desert. Cars were seen stranded due to the surging water. Streets were engulfed and many houses were affected. Environmental activists sprayed orange paint on the facade of the Italian Senate to protest against the government's climate change inaction. Russia deployed multiple exploding drones in another nighttime attack on Ukraine as the Kremlin signaled no let-up in its strategy of using bombardments to target civilian infrastructure and wear down Ukrainian resistance to its invasion. Australia and Canada have joined a growing list of countries requiring travellers from China to take a COVID-19 test prior to boarding the flight, as China battles a nationwide outbreak of the coronavirus after abruptly easing restrictions that were in place for much of the pandemic. South Korea carried a solid fuel rocket test on Monday. South Korean Defense Ministry released a video and it confirmed it test-fired a solid fueled rocket after its unannounced launch triggered a brief public scare of a suspected UFO appearance on North Korean missile launch. And getting you a quick check of sports stories of the day, India will be starting New Year 2023 with a T20 against Sri Lanka in Mumbai on Tuesday. This will be Hardik's 3rd series as Indian captain, while Hardik's biggest New Year resolution is to win the ODI World Cup later this year at home. The coffin of Brazilian soccer great Pelé was carried The coffin of Brazilian soccer great Pelé was carried into the Vila Belmiro Stadium in Santos, where he will lie in state. The 3-time World Cup champion's coffin left Albert Einstein Hospital in Sao Paulo early on Monday and was taken to the stadium where he played some of the best matches of his career. World number 1 Iga Swiatek powered her way past Belinda Bencic to give Poland an early 1-0 lead over Switzerland at the United Cup today. Swiatek fired in some unstoppable shots on her way to a straight sets 6-3, 7-6, winning the tie-break to seal a straight sets victory. Alex de Minaur sparkled under the lights in Melbourne to record a stunning 3-6, 6-1, 7-5 win over Rafael Nadal at the United Cup on Monday. Taylor Fritz took the United States off to a brilliant start in the United Cup after beating Alexander Zverev at Ken Rosewall Arena. Casper Ruud's win against Thiago Monteiro went in vain as Brazil outdid Norway by 3-1 in Group E clash at the Pat Raftar Arena. Odisha FC and Mumbai City FC will kick off the new year with a clash in match week 13 of the Indian Super League at Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. Olympic medalist Saina Nehwal and rising star Malvika Bansod opted out of the national tryouts for the Badminton Asia Mixed Team Championships 2023. Amateur Riders Club will host the prestigious Maharaj Prem Singh Trophy, a polo game to be played as part of the 76th annual horse show and polo tournament. Rising India star Manas Dhamne put up a gutsy show on his ATP Tour debut but ended up with a hard-fought loss against the world number 113 Michael Moore 2-6, 4-6 in the singles opening round match at Belwadi Stadium in Pune.
This is Alisha Ajanar reporting from Mumbai, and this is Republic.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
वरिष्ठ सहयोगी हैं, सभी यहाँ मौजूद हैं और अदर ADGP और DGP साहब पहले ही आ गए थे। ये लोग काम कर रहे हैं। मैंने व्यक्तिगत रूप से उन लोगों से बातचीत की है। ये पता है कि मौत का कोई मुआवजा नहीं होता, प्रशासन का अपना धर्म है। जो व्यवस्थाएं हैं उनका पूरा इस्तेमाल करके उन परिवारों की देखभाल हम लोग करेंगे। सरकारी
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूं और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी बात यही है कि आखिर में 20 साल की लड़की इस गाड़ी में फंसती है और उन लड़कों को नहीं पता चलता। जो स्टेटमेंट उनकी ओर से लगातार ये दिया जा रहा है कि उनको इस बात की जानकारी नहीं कि वो लड़की इस गाड़ी में जो है वो फंसी हुई थी, कि स्कूटी का ये जो आगे का हिस्सा है, आगे का हिस्सा वो पूरी तरीके से खत्म हो चुका है।
जैन समाज की तरफ से यह प्रदर्शन किया जा रहा है। समेश शिखर जी जो जैन समाज का एक तीर्थ स्थल माना जाता है, उसको जब केंद्र सरकार और झारखंड सरकार ने पर्यटन स्थल घोषित कर दिया, उसके बाद से ये प्रोटेस्ट जो है वो हमें देश के तमाम अलग अलग हिस्सों में जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। यहाँ पर लगातार जो है दिल्ली पुलिस डिटेन करती हुई नजर आ रही है जैन समाज के लोगों को।
तो अभी मैं GK2 में खड़ा हूँ और आप मेरे राइट साइड में देख सकती हैं, ये वही अंतरा केयर सेंटर है जहां पर सुबह में आग लगी है। लगभग 5 बजे का वो समय बताया जा रहा है। जो सेकंड फ्लोर है और थर्ड फ्लोर है, उन्हीं दोनों फ्लोर में आग सबसे ज्यादा इफेक्ट हुई। उसमें बताया जा रहा है कि 2 लोगों की झुलसने से मौत हो गई है और साथ ही 6 लोगों को रेस्क्यू कर लिया गया है।
यही वो बलोनो गाड़ी है जिससे ये एक्सीडेंट यहाँ पर हुआ है। सबसे बड़ी